In the Field updates on Market Journal are supported by the Nebraska Corn Board. Let's head out and into the field just to the west of Wahoo, Nebraska. Susan Littlefield is joining us now. And Susan, the grower you're with, is he able to get back in the fields following that rain over the weekend?
Yeah, Bryce, thanks so much. We are west of Wahoo. Actually, we're outside of the town of Rising City, between Rising City and Surprise, where Mother Nature has for the last couple of years not given anybody any rain. And then she opened up the spigot. And as you can see behind me, we have got a lot of rain, a lot of moisture that is taking place, which unfortunately has caused for a delay in the planting. So we're bringing in farmer Kevin Siffring. And Kevin, let's talk about the field behind us. When did you first plant this?
This was planted last Wednesday.
Okay, so just about a week ago in that sense. What did you plant?
Corn.
So looking
This is corn for silage here.
Okay, so looking at it now, underwater once again, let's talk about this field and the issues you have with this one.
It's always low. If you, I always tell my wife, I say if you plant everything fence to fence and get nothing rounded out, it's not good for the dry land. So it's actually in the long run, I'll take these spots, replanting them, or once or twice, or give up eventually. So I'll take the rain anytime. So because you never know when you're not going to get it, as we all know.
Exactly. We just kind of went through that. 4 years of not a lot of rain, and you've got some dry land. So I'm sure this moisture that you're seeing right now for these fields is very welcome.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I was planting some dry land yesterday. It was so nice having moisture everywhere. So yeah, very, very nice to have the rain.
Now I think what's unique about this field as well is you talked about gravity, and it is a low spot, but your dad farms right next to you, and so the water kind of flows on its own into a holding area that doesn't soak into the ground.
Yeah, it just fills up. You could tell when it rained that we had like 250 out of the last rain, and you could tell that it took a lot. And for swamp, a lot of times it has enough in it, ahead of time that it doesn't take much. But it drank a lot, and so that's how dry we are here. That's how dry we are. It took so much water. So, and now it's obviously hitting its point where it's filling that underneath it up.
Which is nice to have that reservoir kind of filled up, because, like you said, you don't know what the next weather.
Exactly.
So as you look at the fields and when you were starting to plant initially, were you planting some in the dust to start out this spring here?
Oh yes, definitely. There was moisture underneath, but on top, yeah, it was very dusty out here. So yeah, and then and even yesterday there was dust even before we had that little sprinkle yesterday. Then there was no dust after that, but yeah, it was definitely dry on top, but we still had some underneath. So because we're way ahead of last year. So
I was just gonna.
Last year was so dusty the whole time.
I was going to ask, what was your deficit going in? Do you know, when you talked to your agronomists and your crop guys, what were they saying fall at harvest, what this was like?
We dug some post holes there last week, and it was clear down. It was very powdery for clay. So yeah, that's what I'm going by. It was definitely a deficit. So I don't know what it was, but technically, but I don't know what it was, but it was definitely dry.
The dust definitely can tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as you look at this, how long will it take for this field to be dry enough that you can go in and do a replant?
That probably will be, depending on what we get, but now for rain, but yeah, that may not get back in again. So if it will, it'll be super late. So it may go back to beans. So that's what I usually do. If it, floods out the spot that is, just put beans in there. So, because obviously the fertilizer's gone.
Oh yeah. Very much so. So you're going to have to do a reapplication as well then?
No, just put beans in it and then don't have to worry about it putting any more fertilizer into it.
So some might say, well, Kevin, if this floods out, why even plant in the first place?
Because farmers are eternal optimists. At least I am. So people ask me that, why do I plant any of my low spots? I'm like, some years that's the best stuff. Like last year, the low ground was way better than anything up high, just because it had that reserve underneath. So just plant it. You don't want it to be weeds, so.
Very true. Well, we wish you the best in this year's growing season, and thanks for joining us and sharing your swamp field with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.